Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into what's basically a roadmap for anyone doing research in English language education. It's all based on an article by Dr. Mahmoud M. Abdallah. Seriously, if you want your work to make a real impact in the field, you're going to want to stick around for this.
So if you're a grad student, maybe in TESOL or TEFL, you know that feeling, right? Trying to lock down a research topic that actually matters can feel, well, a little overwhelming, especially when the field is changing so fast. Think of this as your guide. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so the world of English language teaching, it is constantly on the move. I mean, it's this crazy crossroads of new tech, new ideas about teaching, and big social questions. And that's what makes it so exciting. But yeah, it also makes it incredibly tough to find a research focus that's really going to hit the mark. And that's the thing. Your research isn't just some paper you write for a grade. It's the engine that drives real progress and education. It shapes everything from how we design a curriculum to how we train our teachers. So the big challenge, and honestly the big opportunity, is figuring out where to even start looking on this huge shifting map of possibilities. All right, so the first major landmark we're going to look at on our map is, no surprise, technology. The rise of tech has completely changed the game for how we teach and learn English. And we're not just talking about using computers in class anymore. Oh no, this is a whole new frontier. And what's the single biggest driver of all this change? You guessed it, artificial intelligence. AI isn't some far-off sci-fi concept anymore. It is actively reshaping English instruction as we speak. And get this, the source material points out something fascinating. English language teaching is the #1 application for AI in education across the entire globe. That's huge. It makes AI probably the most important development in the field's recent history, and it's opened up this massive new territory for research.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because you've got this core tension at play. On one side, you have these incredible opportunities, right? We're talking personalized learning, smart tutors and chatbots, all these data-driven insights, but on the other side, it throws up some really serious challenges, things like bias, data privacy, and the digital divide. And these are exactly the kinds of problems researchers like you need to dig into. Let's take this idea of algorithmic bias. It's one of the most critical areas for new research. So what is it? Well, imagine an AI system that's supposed to score an essay. It could actually unfairly penalize a student just because their writing style doesn't fit a typical Anglo pattern, or because it misinterprets their accent in a speaking test. Your work could be what helps us build technology that's truly fair and equitable for all learners.
But hey, it's not all about AI. The tech map is bigger than that. You've got these immersive tools like virtual reality. Think about it. A student can practice ordering food in a virtual cafe or giving a business presentation in a simulated boardroom. That kind of thing was impossible in a traditional classroom. And the research is showing it can seriously reduce that anxiety a lot of us feel when speaking a new language. That alone is a super interesting path for a research project. Okay, let's shift gears and look at the other side of our map, because technology is only half the picture. What's so fascinating about the field right now is this push and pull. On one side, you have this relentless drive for tech innovation. And on the other, you have this really powerful counter-movement, a deep, human-centered push for teaching practices that are more inclusive and more focused on social justice. You know, for decades, the whole field was kind of obsessed with this idea of native speakerism, the belief that the ideal English teacher was a monolingual native speaker from, say, the US or the UK. But we're finally moving past that outdated model. The new reality is that English is a global language, and guess what? Most of its teachers around the world are multilingual, non-native speakers themselves. And that's a good thing. And this whole shift is being fueled by really powerful ideas like translanguaging. So instead of seeing a student's home language as a problem or a barrier to learning English, this approach completely flips the script. It says, hey, that student's full linguistic repertoire is an asset. It's about letting learners use their entire linguistic toolkit to make sense of the world and to learn. And for anyone thinking about research, this isn't just some abstract theory. It's a real, practical way of teaching. It means actively teaching students how to draw on their different languages, how to code switch strategically. It's about building their skills for the real multilingual world they live in. This is such a rich area for anyone who wants to do classroom-based studies. This push for inclusion also means we have to embrace what are called culturally sustaining pedagogies. And it's about so much more than just, having a food festival or celebrating holidays. It's about looking critically at our teaching and asking, whose knowledge and language are we treating as valid?
It's about making sure our classrooms genuinely honor and build upon the diverse backgrounds our students bring with them.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground, right? We've explored the tech frontier, and we've looked at the big push for social justice. Now let's get really practical. Let's pinpoint your coordinates on the map with some specific, high-impact research questions that come straight from the source material.
So, if you're excited by that tech frontier, here are some things to think about. Your research could dig into the ethics of AI for different learners. Or you could test how fair AI scoring systems really are for various accents. Or maybe you could help figure out what digital skills teachers actually need to use all this stuff responsibly. There's so much to explore here. Or maybe your passion is more on that human side of things. If so, your work could challenge those old, outdated norms. You could investigate how things like job insecurity are really affecting teachers on the ground. Or you could develop practical ways to make our classrooms more welcoming for all learners, especially students who are often overlooked, like refugees or those with special needs. And hey, don't forget about the research methods themselves. Your project could be about innovating how we even do research. Maybe you combine different methods to get a richer, fuller picture of what's happening in a classroom. Or you could use action research to empower teachers to solve their own local problems. You could even build bridges to other fields like computer science or psychology. That's where some of the coolest breakthroughs happen. When you put it all together, what does it all mean? It means that the research you do isn't just a box to check for your degree. It's a genuine chance to help shape the future of English language education. It's about pushing knowledge forward in a way that's not just new, but also responsible, relevant, and can actually transform the lives of learners all over the globe. So, by picking a topic that's relevant, original, and doable, one that sits right at that intersection of technology and social justice, you can create insights that make a real difference. The future of the field really does depend on researchers like you being brave enough to explore these new territories. The map is in your hands. The only question is, where are you going to start?